Brother made my life hell and got my wife pregnant. Now he wants my help after our parents disowned him and left me their $2 million inheritance. I'm Jack, 34M. If you'd told me a year ago that I'd be in this position, wealthy from an unexpected inheritance, alone, and betrayed by my own family, I would have laughed it off as some dark soap opera plot. But here I am, living a reality more twisted and painful than I ever imagined. Life used to be stable. Not extraordinary, but decent. I had a career in IT, a mortgage, a loving wife named Emma, 33F, and a younger brother, Ryan, 30M, who I'd always considered my best friend. Growing up, he was the family favorite. Ryan was charming, the guy everyone gravitated towards, while I was the quiet one who always worked hard and kept his head down. But I didn't mind. I was proud of him. I thought our bond was unbreakable. Things began to change a few months ago. Emma started acting strange. She was distant, always on her phone, locking it whenever I walked into the room. She started going out more frequently, often claiming it was a girls' night or office thing, but something felt off. I started to wonder if she was hiding something, but I told myself it was probably nothing. Then, one night, I noticed a familiar name pop up on her phone, Ryan. My heart skipped a beat. Why was she texting my brother so late? It wasn't like them to communicate directly, at least not without me involved. When I casually asked Emma about it, she brushed it off, saying Ryan had reached out for advice about something. But the way she said it, the way her eyes wouldn't meet mine, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. I tried to ignore it. But once suspicion settles in, it's impossible to shake. A few weeks later, I came home earlier than usual and found Emma hurriedly ending a phone call. She looked guilty, like a deer caught in headlights. She claimed it was just a work call, but I noticed she was trembling slightly. I knew then something was seriously wrong. The next day, I did something I never thought I would. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. There was nothing unusual. All messages with Ryan had been deleted. The emptiness of the message thread confirmed my worst fears. They were hiding something. I confronted Emma that night. She denied everything, accused me of being paranoid, and stormed out, leaving me alone with my suspicions. I tried to convince myself that maybe I was overreacting, that maybe it was all in my head. But deep down, I knew something was terribly wrong. A week later, my mother called me, her voice shaky. "Jack," she said, "we need to talk. It's about Ryan and Emma." I could feel my heart pounding as I drove to meet my parents. When I arrived, the look on their faces told me everything. My father, usually calm and collected, looked visibly distressed. My mother's eyes were red from crying. They told me the truth. Emma was pregnant. And the father? Ryan. I sat there in silence, unable to process the betrayal. My own brother, the person I trusted the most, had been having an affair with my wife, and now they were having a child together. It felt like my entire life had shattered into pieces. My parents were devastated. They couldn't believe Ryan, their beloved golden child, would do something so vile. They were furious, hurt, and disappointed beyond words. They told me they were cutting him off, disowning him. They had some savings they'd set aside for the future, about $2 million. They decided to leave it all to me. Ryan would get nothing. At first, I was numb. Money was the last thing on my mind. All I could think about was the betrayal, the complete destruction of my marriage and my family. But as the days passed, I realized just how deep the betrayal ran. Ryan didn't just take my wife, he took my entire sense of security, my faith in family. Then, out of nowhere, Ryan showed up at my doorstep. He was desperate, pleading for my forgiveness. He said he'd messed up, that he was broke, and that Emma had kicked him out. He asked if he could crash at my place just for a while. The audacity of it stunned me. Not only had he betrayed me, but now he was expecting me to help him. I slammed the door in his face. But he didn't stop there. He kept texting, calling, begging me to reconsider. He swore he was sorry, that he regretted everything. But I couldn't believe a word he said. I'd seen the depths of his selfishness, and I wasn't about to let him worm his way back into my life. In the midst of all this chaos, Emma filed for divorce. She didn't ask for much, just wanted to separate as quickly and painlessly as possible. I wondered if she'd really thought things through, if she realized the life she'd destroyed. But I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to be free of her, of all of them. Months passed, and I tried to rebuild. My parents and I became closer. They supported me through the worst of it. They reiterated their decision to leave me the inheritance, wanting me to have some sense of stability after everything I'd lost. But Ryan? He was left with nothing. He tried reaching out to my parents, tried to convince them to give him just a portion of the inheritance to get back on his feet. They refused. They were done with him, too. One evening, I received an unexpected letter from Emma. She was apologizing, saying she regretted everything, that she missed what we had. She wanted to co-parent and find some way to repair the damage, for the baby's sake. She claimed Ryan was out of her life for good and that she'd realized her mistake. But I couldn't bring myself to trust her, not after the lies, the betrayal. I didn't respond. Ryan's life, meanwhile, spiraled further. He'd lost his job, couldn't find stable housing, and was in debt. He was desperate, reaching out to mutual friends, trying to guilt-trip me into helping him. Some of them even suggested that I should give him just a little of the inheritance, for the sake of family. But I stood firm. Ryan made his choices, and he was paying the price. Then, I heard through the grapevine that Ryan was trying to reconnect with Emma. He was trying to make things work for the sake of their child. It was the final straw. He wasn't just desperate, he was still trying to steal what little I had left. My parents heard about it too, and they were furious. They cut off all contact with him, blocking his calls and emails. They told me they'd made peace with their decision to disown him. But just when I thought I'd finally found some peace, another letter arrived. This time, it was from a lawyer. Ryan was trying to contest my parents' will, claiming that they were emotionally manipulated into disowning him. He was attempting to sue me for a portion of the inheritance, arguing that he deserved it as their son. I was livid. After everything he'd done, he still had the nerve to try and take from me. The legal battle was messy, draining, and painful. But in the end, the judge ruled in my favor. Ryan got nothing. It was the final nail in the coffin of our relationship. Now, I'm trying to move on. I've cut ties with both Ryan and Emma, focusing on rebuilding my life. The scars are still there, and trust isn't easy to come by. But I've learned that sometimes, family isn't about blood, it's about loyalty, respect, and love. And if someone can't give you that, then they don't deserve to be a part of your life. It's been a brutal journey, but I'm stronger for it. And as for Ryan? He's nothing but a stranger now.